Good evening, Rotorua. Tonight on City News. Dismantling of the Lake Road overhead bridge begins on Monday. Model Railway Club holding annual Easter show at Easter, and Rotorua cricket play to retain the Etrel Cup. Those stories and more coming up next on City News. From Monday, the overhead bridge section of Lake Road will be closed to allow for its deconstruction. The overhead bridge was built in the 1930s to allow for traffic flow across the railway lines. Rotorua District Council Roading Manager Peter Dine says the section of Lake Road will be closed for around a month.
Yes, they won't be allowed through that section of the road, so they'll have to go down either Railway Road or that's if they're coming from the west, or if they're coming from the town side, you can still go down Bennett's and Whitaker Road. If you don't have to have business and can avoid Lake Road, do so. However, all businesses are open and access to every property will still be available. It's a maximum of 31 days that they've got. Hopefully we'll do it quicker, but we can't promise that. There's a lot of work to do. They've got to get the overhead bridge down. They've got to remove the embankments and build a replacement road. And also there's quite a lot of services that need to be done at the same time.
Rotorua rights activist and unemployment advocate Paul Blair says the new rules being introduced by the government regarding young people and their benefits is both demeaning and dangerous. The government plans to introduce a card system for paying young people on benefits. Mr Blair says the proposals are extreme state intervention into the lives of our youth.
They're going to take control of their benefit finances. They're going to have a little green plastic card that they can buy food with, but will not be able to buy certain items such as alcohol, tobacco. Their rent will be paid directly to the landlord, and presumably other payments will be redirected to power companies. And to treat every 18-year-old young mother as if they need that kind of state intervention is demeaning and degrading, and it's going to have some very serious consequences, unfortunately, for our community here in Rotorua.
New Zealand Governor-General Sir Jerry Mateparai has contributed to halting the decline in kiwi numbers by releasing some into the Otane Wainuku forest near Tauranga. The kiwi were hatched in Rotorua from eggs taken from the Whirinaki forest and reared at a bush creche on Cape Kidnappers until they reached 1 kilogram in weight. Young kiwi had a better chance of survival being reared in the pest-proof reserve on Cape Kidnappers than in an enclosure at Rotorua because they were more bush-savvy. The vision is to have 200 to 250 kiwis breeding in the unlogged forest. Rotorua Model Railway Club is holding the annual model train show at the Rotorua Racecourse. Organiser Anne Eagleston says this year they have more displays on than ever.
Well, we've got 2 levels full. It's upstairs and down with layouts and stalls. So we have other gentlemen that come in just with stalls that sell trains or train parts and all that sort of thing that the men need and things to build their scenery with. So we have that as well on top of the layouts that are there. We've got a very large layout that has been years in the making. It's an AMG layout that is done by 3 gentlemen, and they've just done a fantastic job, and that's the biggest layout that's there.
The model train show is on the 7th, 8th and 9th of April. In sport tonight, the rescheduled Etrel Cup takes centre stage this Sunday when current holders Rotorua will take up the challenge laid down by the Eastern Bay of Plenty rep team. Last week's game was rained out, and Bay of Plenty Cricket's Mark Webb says our unpredictable summer has meant they may not fit in the rest of the scheduled games in this season, so this may be the only game this season to win the Cup. Final games for the Williams Cup continue over the final weeks. To your weekend weather now, Rotorua, brought to you by Trevor Robson Signs and Graphics Limited. Tonight, chance evening shower, light winds, overnight a low of 9. Tomorrow Saturday, cloudy periods, northeasterlies a high of 19 and low of 12. Outlook for Sunday, cloudy periods, chance shower, northeasterlies a high of 18 and low of 12. Marine forecast for Lake Rotorua for Saturday, variable 5 knots becoming northeast 10 knots for a time in the afternoon, low waves and cloudy periods. If you've missed any of tonight's bulletin, you can watch it again by going to tv.rotorua.co.nz and click on the View Latest City News link, or to view what's on in our city, click on the Upcoming Events link. Coming up after the break, Amanda Honick has highlights of what's on over the next week here in Rotorua. Anne and Pete Eggleston talk about the upcoming train show. But after the break, I'm in the studio with musician Ruben Paraha to talk about the As Band and hear their latest release. That's coming up in tonight's City News.